in my quest to find some power weapons for my 1993 original Power Rangers figures. Previously we opened these 12-inch bigger figures because they came with their weapons. So right now, we're going to take a look at these Morphin Hero figures. They're also 12-inch, and they also come with their weapons. The problem last time was, for the black and blue Ranger, the weapons fit with the old 1993 figures pretty well, but the pink and red Rangers' weapons were a little too big, as you can see here. And they're also just gray. Here, if you can kind of see in the package, we have some red and pink, and these are actually smaller, the weapons that come with these figures. And these have a change ability and things like that, so we'll open these up, check out the figures, but then we'll check out their weapons and see if they're a better match for those old Power Ranger figures. So let's do it. These just come open package here, and there's only 3 available at this time. Red, pink, blue. Now, this was also the problem with these 12-inch, that there was only red, pink, blue, and black. So every line is missing the Yellow Ranger and the Green Ranger right now. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Just get this out. He is strapped in. Get the figure out. And the weapon is strapped and behind a bubble here. Keep that from getting taken out. So he has his power sword with the red on the handle. It's not full detail, but it's certainly better than the all gray one we can see here. And we can also see that this is a little bit smaller. But let's look at the figure real quick here. He's got this huge backpack. He does have the Dinozord picture on it. I didn't know that. So that just kind of gets pushed back there. It has the likeness for Jason from the original show. Doesn't look too bad. Looks maybe a little old. They might have actually used a modern scan or something of him to make it. So kind of has almost the Power Rangers the movie logo, which is funny because he wasn't really in the movie. But this is clearly supposed to be the original show costume, but it has this extra gear because it's got that helmet in there. The arms have a ball joint going on, but he has this backpack thing that is going to keep him from putting his arms very high up. And then the legs aren't going to do much because that is the mechanism for the morph feature that you squeeze them together. He gets his helmet right on there. So not quite the flip of the old figures, they used to have the flip change, but kind of have that function in there. This is the just plain 12-inch, no frills or anything, just kind of, it's a shampoo bottle figure, but he has his weapon, this one has its. So honestly, comparing the two, this is more detailed with some silver and things, and overall looks more like a direct from the show, just the plain 12-inch, versus this, feature morphing one. But what's really curious is the weapons that came with them. Why the 12-inch figure came with such a huge and plain sword versus this morphing one, the much smaller sword. You would think maybe they were flip-flopped or something, but then this one has the nub to combine into the big weapon that you can see in the other video where I opened these up, but this one's just plain, so I guess you would be losing the feature that way, not getting this one, but I feel like he looks a little better with a slightly smaller sword than the huge one. And then this one that's more toy featured, he could probably benefit from the bigger one. I don't know if there was a swap at some point, in the design or what. So I'm not real impressed with the change thing, just because you have to have this huge backpack for it to work. It's kind of an odd feature that way, especially to get it back down into the thing. It's just really weird how it sits down in there. It doesn't really lock in that well. It's got to just stay up, and then like, okay, neat, but was it worth sacrificing every other detail of the figure? I don't think so, but I wanted the weapon, so let's check that out. Here we have the old original Red Ranger figure. They only ever came with their kind of gun weapon. So this one was the plain 12-inch. You see it's very big. Doesn't really look very good in his hand. But this one, plus bonus with the red handle, sized a little better. So had I known there was such a size difference, I would have just got the Flip Red Ranger, and I might not have even got the kind of the normal 12-inch figure. Looks a lot better, I think. But it's going to not have the combined feature that the rest had, unfortunately. So that's a trade-off of sorts. But yeah, this is much better. It's much better sized, much like the black and blue Rangers that I found. Look at that. is a much better power sword now, or Dragon Strike sword. So we can see the size of the bow on the other one, the 12-inch. Here's the 12-inch changing, morphing one. Let's open her up, check out her figure and weapon also. It's just strapped down in. Unfortunately, these came in just kind of in a bag with any padding, so I'm lucky that there isn't a bunch of dents and scratches and things. I'm not sure what the problem is shipping out toy stuff. I mean, even if it's not going to a collector, I mean, you wouldn't want to send a dented toy to a child buying this, or getting this. So you need to package your stuff a little better. An instruction booklet also, but it's fairly self-explanatory the way it works. And interesting, the bows were coming with arrows too. That's kind of cool. That wasn't a detail I was expecting. I was just expecting the bow. So again, it doesn't have like the notches where you're going to be able to combine this, I don't think. But they did the pink plastic, so kind of looks better than just the gray. Not that the real one was pink or anything, but it does have a notch here where you can kind of place the arrows. So kind of up there. Should really be in the middle if she was looking to shoot it, but just kind of a holster area. There it says about putting the arrow into the spot. How to put the helmet down into the backpack so it can come out. But again, fairly obvious. Here it says the pterodactyl Zord head on her big old bag here. And again, the same problem with the arms and stuff, and then the head isn't going to move because it's got to stay in place for the mechanism. They went headband with Kimberly here for some mysterious reason. Don't know why, if they felt they needed more pink on here. I don't really remember rocking a headband that much. The likeness is kind of nice for, you know, a bigger, cheaper figure. It's not like photo real scan or anything, but she kind of has this extra ponytail that is still visible once you do the... Oh, well, that was a failed one. Once you do the morph, if it works, wow, yeah, it's really working great. But you can see her ponytail hangs out, I mean, the only thing you'd really want to do with these is display them with the helmets off, I would think, but what else is the point? Because you have the 12-inch here that has a really nice helmet and costume versus the strange, you know, added symbol, not as detailed buckle, and all this stuff, so... I don't know. Pink one is not working super well, unless I'm missing something on the function. I don't know if it's hitting her hair, that this doesn't even really work? Not quite. Leaner forward. Nope, still doesn't quite jump over. Oh no. Yeah. Alright, well. An A for effort, but when you gotta put a freaking giant backpack on the back, it doesn't really work out all that well. Yeah. You gotta manually put that on there. Not great. Gonna have another video for these 12-inch ones if you want to see these. I just wanted to show the bow of that one, how big it is for her. It's super giant. It's like a longbow, like medieval. It's just too big. So this one, you can see how much smaller it is. It's like a whole nother scale. And also her arrow is like got a silver to it, which is pretty interesting because silver is the color they didn't put on these. So again, kind of my theory, I feel like at one point the red and pink were supposed to swap weapons with the other 12-inch. For some reason they made the change, although they don't go together with the molding, so I don't know at what point. But yeah, see, look, this it's just a much better size, I feel like, there. You even put in the arrow, ready to use that. Pink Ranger was beating all sorts of monsters with her bow and arrow. Much better size for what I was really getting these figures for, which was just trying to get the weapons for my original figures. And then, you know, I'm ending up with these other bigger figures, which is interesting and stuff. I'm not sure what exactly I'll do with them. Likely give them away. I'm not sure what if I'll give away the weapons, because even though these are the bigger, they do have the spots where they can combine with other weapons if we get them all released. Again, the black and blue Rangers of the normal 12-inch figures, their weapons fit these kind of figures way better. Just because you can see that they're smaller, so they're obviously going to fit the older figures better, and that was really my goal in all this, was getting weapons for my older figures like that. So right now I recommend you get the morphing flip helmet ones if you want weapons for the red and pink ranger, and the normal kind of standard figure 12-inch figures of the blue and black rangers for weapons for them and their old counterpart. And had I known there was such a size difference, that's how I would have bought it, but I ended up getting the other 12-inch figures and seeing that their weapons were gigantic for some reason. But the black and blue are smaller, and then they're colored like these. So you see how this is kind of its own set, but you know, these have holes that they can do their combining and things like that. So if you want to see the weapons combined, just make sure you check out that video of the other 12-inch figures. But for these, the figures are pretty crappy. Was not impressed with the function. Didn't even really work on my Pink Ranger unless I was doing something wrong. Oh, got it that time. Doing something wrong. Right. Well, anyway, unless you're desperate for more figures of the Power Rangers with their kind of actor likeness on them, these are worth the skip, except I wanted to raid their weapons. So it's worth it to steal that, and I don't know, some lucky kid will definitely get these. I have no interest in keeping these. These are actually not that bad, because they look, you know, very much like the show. You know, they don't have the symbol on the chest, they have a pretty nice buckle and the helmet, and they have full movement and stuff. So these I would be more likely to keep than these strange play function morphing ones. So that's my take on the weapon situation there. Now we just need to wait and see if we get Yellow Ranger or Green Ranger, and which figure is going to be which size of weapon here, because right now it's all over the place. I can't really rely on one toy line to get weapons for them. So I've just been watching the old Japanese show that all the footage is from to make the old Power Ranger show, so I have all sorts of merchandise. I'm going back over and collecting like old figures, monsters, the spin fighters, if you remember those. So it's all those videos here you can check out. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video if you like this kind of collectible here. So yeah, I'll see you in those.